In terms of what we're doing, it's probably important to just set out a quick orientation that we are actually building on the GDPR here. So it's not so much maybe a choice between, say, the status quo and maybe removing the GDPR. We are basically keeping the broad foundation. There is change, yes. Our consultation document was called Data: A New Direction. And that ties in very well, I think, with this conference title, The Winds of Change. But it's a change with great consistency. We're basically taking a step back and we're looking at what can we do to improve the GDPR while maintaining the core foundation of rights, principles, obligations. So sometimes we'll be looking at something which is maybe unclear. And in the GDPR, we think we want to take action there. What do people think about that? That's been a core theme for all the chapters in our consultation, from research, further processing, all the way to international transfers. Sometimes, I think as you heard in the Commission's previous session, there's reforms where we're looking at the question of can we achieve the same level of protection through different means? And we'll talk more about that when we come on to the question about the privacy management programme. So I think it's just important to emphasise that we don't envisage a change to the level of protection here with our reforms. We do envisage changes in terms of giving controllers greater certainty, greater confidence in how they can use data responsibly, and also, where necessary, greater flexibility in achieving that. But we do see the level of protection staying the same. In terms of how the consultation process went, we had, as I think you often noted, we had almost 3,000 responses, 2,924. I did not win the sweepstakes, sadly, on that. And we had over 40 roundtables with a range of different organisations. We spoke to civil rights groups, we spoke to tech companies, researchers. We looked at a lot of literature out there as well in various journals. And of course, yeah, we went through all of the 3,000 responses. Every single one, sometimes more than once. I think everyone more than once, actually. And that took quite a lot of time. I think it's probably, it's hard to really draw some general trends from all the different evidence that we got. But in general, I think there was maybe caveated support for what we would like to achieve, in terms of there was welcoming of the various benefits that our reforms could give, but with the caveat that this shouldn't be at the price, at the expense of weakening data protection and weakening data rights. And that's something certainly that we agree with. It wasn't always easy to discern various trends. I think maybe this view that there was sort of consistent opposition across all sectors. We didn't have that. We had some ones were mixed, and sometimes when we had people that did agree, so perhaps there was support for a definition of research, that was for different reasons. Some respondents supported it because they wanted different content. They wanted different content out of the research. They wanted to get something different out of it. And then on the other side of the coin, for those that opposed it, they opposed that for different reasons. We had some people opposing a definition because they thought it would widen the existing concept. And then we'd turn to another response which would say, if you have a definition, that will narrow the existing concept. So it was a bit hard to sort of discern general trends, but we did work through absolutely everything. I guess just in response to your question, I suppose it's maybe safe to say that there was more opposition the greater our reforms appeared to diverge from the GDPR. That would probably be a safe answer.
And how is this going to be implemented, Elisabeth? Are we thinking about a single piece of legislation? Are we thinking about amending the Data Protection Act 2018? What's the thinking there?
Again, a good question. And I have to say, Peter, I think your explanation of how all the different pieces of legislation work, that was better than the one we gave the Commission during adequacy talks. It's going to be a lot simpler. So I think you also mentioned 2023. Well, that's a possibility. It's certainly a good goal. I think if anyone listened to the Queen's speech, there's lots of bills coming in that. I think you probably need to know what the collective noun for a bill is. There are just so many in the speech. So we can't give any guarantees about when it will be. So just to cover that point. In terms of the question about the form it will take, yes, it will amend both the UK GDPR and the Data Protection Act 2018. It won't repeal and replace. So we won't say, bye-bye UK GDPR, bye-bye 2018 Act, here's the new 2023 or whatever date act. We won't do that.
Okay.
It will actually go into those acts, keep them, but amend the provisions, which I think is probably in keeping with our overall theme of maintaining the GDPR, but amending, improving.